Hey guys, welcome to the Purpose of Money YouTube channel. Today's story is going to inspire you. We are talking to Lydia Nelson about how she went from making $8.50 an hour to $2.4 million in sales as a female business owner. Hope you get your pen and pencil ready to take notes. If you like the video, don't forget to like it, share, and subscribe at the link below. I'll make sure to include all the links to anything we mentioned that'll help you become a female business owner in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and check out our future stories that will inspire you or give you money tips on how to build real wealth. Now, let's hop right into the video. You are listening to the Purpose of Money podcast, a podcast where we talk about ways to build wealth and create more freedom in your life today. I am your host, Cscrubs. Hey guys, welcome back to the Purpose of Money podcast. Today, I'm so excited to have special guest Lydia Nelson from Cscrubs With Love. We are so excited to have you today to talk about your entrepreneurship ventures and your success. Lydia, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So before we dive in, can you tell our guests a little bit more about yourself and your company, Cscrubs With Love?
Yes, absolutely. I'm Lydia Nelson, owner and founder of Cscrubs With Love Wholesale Division. And what we do is we place others in business to sell scrubs online and direct. I was a CNA myself many years ago that aspired to do a lot more with my life. So I started out as a retailer of scrubs. And then about 7 or 8 years into that, I decided I wanted to do something on a bigger scale and place other people into business to sell scrubs for themselves. So here we are, a total of 11 years in business, and we have been doing great. We have hundreds of retailers nationwide, and we love what we do.
Awesome. So you're not only running your own business, but you're inspiring other people to do it too. And you're helping those business owners. That is excellent.
That's right. We set their businesses up completely. So with our packages that they purchase, they can get an online store set up. We file their business license, EIN, all of that good stuff. So we actually put them in business under their own company name.
Okay, so that's pretty interesting. So can you explain for those who may not be familiar with this concept, how is this different than franchising?
It's funny you ask about franchising because that is the ultimate goal for Cscrubs. The difference is that we put you in business under your company, under your business name. You won't be representing the Cscrubs brand. So once we begin franchising, which should be about maybe 5 to 6 years from now, hopefully, you will then be able to purchase a Cscrubs store.
Got it. That's good. I really like that. So let's go back a little bit. You talked about how for quite some time you were selling scrubs and then you chose to pivot. What is it that made you pivot your business to becoming a wholesaler of scrubs?
I think I fell in love with the idea of entrepreneurship in itself. I feel like as a retailer of many years, I became so familiar with the product. I got to work one-on-one with my customers. I got to have a lot of fun with the business, but then something dawned on me that I had a story and that I came from an interesting background and I could use my story to inspire other people that come from the same types of situations. And I realized that I had done something really great and phenomenal, and I felt like I needed to share that with the world. So that's what inspired me to place other people in business, because I began to have a fire for something bigger than just selling a product. I wanted to change lives and create wealth. So that was my biggest motivation for wholesale.
That's awesome. And so let's talk about your story. Where are you originally from? And if you can explain a little bit more about where you were financially before you started your business and what really drove you to become an entrepreneur.
Right. So many years ago, I was a CNA. I dropped out of high school at the age of 16 to go to Job Corps to get my GED and my CNA certificate because I grew up very poor. So I was basically put in a situation where you had to get a job and you had to fend for yourself. My mom could no longer take care of me. Basically, she couldn't provide for me anymore at 16. So I had to get out and hustle. And so I didn't want to go get a job at McDonald's because in my mind, I felt like I wouldn't make as much money possibly at McDonald's. I would probably be at the very low end of minimum wage. I felt like as a CNA, it was still low pay, but I could get maybe $1 or two more. Plus, I knew that there was a demand for healthcare, and I felt like I would have some type of job security. So that's pretty much where that came from. And in the midst of that, me going to Job Corps and me graduating Job Corps with my CNA certificate, I worked as a CNA and became extremely burnt out. And I think, a CNA job is a job that is a stepping stone. It's not something that's meant for you to stay there. I became really burnt out and my financial situation was awful. I was making only $8.50 an hour. Actually, my first job as a CNA was $6.75 an hour. $8.50 was my wage when I quit to start Cscrubs. So as you can imagine, I've been evicted several times, lost a lot. I went through a lot in my life and I just really hit rock bottom and needed to do something else. So I looked down at my scrubs back in the day. Of course, I lived in scrubs, working as a CNA day and night. It's all you wore. And I realized that I can sell scrubs. I'm familiar with the product. I can do this. And it started out as a thought. It wasn't like a long-term plan, like most people plan a business and really plan months and years sometimes and think about what they want to do. It was a daily thought that hit me. It was like an epiphany. And there it was. And I immediately fell in love with the idea and I took off with it.
I love that. I really love that. And so you found that you could make a business out of something you knew really well that you used to use every day. So I want to talk a little
Right.
bit more about your jump because some entrepreneurs will wait until they can replace their income before they start a business. And then others are
Mhm.
like, no, you just need to take the leap. Which did you do? It sounds like you took the leap, but before you took that leap, what are some of the things that you made sure you had in place so you could be successful?
Honestly, I just took the leap. I didn't have anything in place, no plan, nothing. I was a CNA, I was broke, and I was tired. I was already at 8.50 an hour. So I had pending evictions. So at this point, honestly, there was nothing to lose but to just take the leap. The only thing I had to lose was the idea of never starting. So I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a mentor. I was young. I was 22 years old when I started this business. I was extremely young. So I remember contacting my first facility. I didn't even understand what payroll deduction was to be able to go into a facility and allow the girls to sell scrubs and it come out of their paycheck when they asked me would I accept that method of payment. I had to Google it real quick just to see if I had to kind of fake it till I make it. I really didn't know a thing, and I just stepped out there. And I think when you get tired and you hit rock bottom the way that I did, you don't have anything to lose anyway. So you just leave. I quit my job. I was already broke, like I said. So I quit my job. I left the job behind because I wasn't getting ahead from the job anyway. I did work enough double shifts to be able to save enough to get into business. Wasn't a lot, but I was able to save enough to make it happen for myself. And once I landed my first sale in a facility, back in the day, I started out in a facility. I didn't start out selling online like we have all these great online stores nowadays. I started out old school in the facility, direct sales, and I made enough in 2 hours to cover 2, 3 weeks of pay as a CNA. That was it for me. I was done. And I'm ashamed to say, I didn't put in a 2 week notice. I didn't let the supervisor know I was leaving. I just left. That was it for me, and it was the best move to date that I've ever made, definitely. So I have no regrets.
Good. It's important to live a life of no regrets. Oh, that is an amazing story, Lydia. I'm so amazed at how you just had the faith and courage to make the leap and just go into entrepreneurship. So now I want to talk about the challenges you faced when you first started, because I know it's great when you succeed, but what are some of the things you had to overcome and figure out on your own as a
Um,
businesswoman?
Let me tell you something. Business is not for the weak. You have to be strong. I have been blessed to make a lot of money. I have been blessed to change lives. I have been blessed to give back. I have been blessed to help people. But I have been through. I have had the door slammed in my face before. I have had a facility not pay me $9,000 from a uniform sale. I've gone through. My husband was incarcerated 4 years ago, and I was left with two kids, 2 and 3 years old, to be a single mother. So I have had quite a bit of hardships. My mother is severely mentally ill. Father is deceased. So I have very little family. So running a business and going through these trials and tribulations has not been easy, but I have remained determined. When my husband went to jail 4 years ago, I made a choice to triple my sales. I made a choice to keep pushing. I knew that he was going to do some time, but at the same time, I had two kids looking up to me, and I couldn't make them suffer. I had to keep pushing. And at that time in business, obviously, I wasn't where I am today, where God has blessed me to be today. But I'm only where I am today through his incarceration because of my determination. So being left without him with two kids, especially under the age of 5, was the hardest thing I think I've ever pulled through, honestly. My husband and I are very close. We're the best of friends. And it was just like the rug was snatched up underneath my feet. I became a prison wife overnight. I became a single mother overnight, but I still had this thriving business. And still, all in all, trying to figure out my place in my mother's life and how I'm going to repair that relationship, if any. At that time, that relationship was on the rocks. I had to let her go because of her severe mental illness so that I can go off and really focus and pursue Cscrubs and pursue my dreams and my goals. So it has not been easy, but if you are determined, then you cannot fail. And you can't buckle. Anytime something happens, it doesn't go your way, it's okay. It's an old saying, Coca-Cola sold just 25 bottles the very first year. Do not be discouraged because things do not go your way. That's a billionaire company now. So you have to keep pushing. And I just have this fire in me, and I know that I struggled a lot as a child now for a reason. When I was struggling, I didn't understand it. I was saying, is this how my life is supposed to be? I'm not understanding this. But now I'm actually, it may sound weird, but I'm thankful for my struggle because I wouldn't have the endurance to have gotten through half of the things that I've made it through, being a single mother, being a prison wife, going through the mental illness with my mother had I not gone through. So if you go through anything in business, do not give up. Do not let it make you feel like you just, it's not for you and it's not meant for you. No, those trials and tribulations are tests to get you to your destiny. And I'm a living witness of that.
Oh man, yes. That is so inspiring, and I feel like somebody needed to hear that today. And so
Yeah,
I really appreciate you sharing, because that's such a personal story, right? But it's a
yeah,
part of your journey. So now
yeah.
it's the time to ask the $1 million question, because you have gotten to $2 million as an entrepreneur in sales and in the worth of your business, right? How did you scale your business so quickly?
Honestly, consistency, doing what works every single day. People respect consistency, not perfection. You don't have to be perfect to be successful. You don't have to have, let me tell you something. When I started years ago, I didn't even have a website at all. I didn't even have a business card. And I made my first 6 figures within 2 years of business with no website yet. I didn't even have one yet. So if you are consistent, and of course nowadays website is mandatory to have. This was years ago, you know. So I scaled from my first year in business. I made $12,000, and I was so excited because this was, like I said, 11 years ago. It was 1,000 a month. You know, I was able to pay my bills. I couldn't go out and live lavish and do much, but I was able to pay my bills. And that felt good to me, to be able to not come home with a broken back and still be able to pay my bills. By the next year, I went from 12,000 a year to 125,000 by the next year from the consistency. And then every year after that, I have literally doubled sales for the past 11 years. And so my 2 million a year, actually, I'm expecting about 2.4 million this year. Praise God. So that's a blessing. My 2.4 million a year over the course of 11 years is a blessing, but it's a really healthy growth rate if you think about it. You know, it didn't happen overnight, and people saw my passion. They trusted in me. Business is about trust as well. It's not all about a fancy product and fancy packaging. It's about trust. And my customers knew that I took the business very seriously. They knew that they could depend on me. I marketed day in and day out. I didn't have a mentor or anything like that, but I utilized Google a lot and what I could find, and did the work, because a lot of entrepreneurs don't realize that it's work that you have to do on your own. You can't just go buy somebody's book. You have to be willing to do the work, roll your sleeves up and do the work. So I did the work. That helped me to become better at marketing, which of course holds the prize to scaling a business as well. And then also just giving back. You know, I've changed a lot of lives along with this 2 million. You know, I've given to a lot of people. I've done a lot of things, and it's what I'm finding is that God put me in position to be his leader, to give back and take care of other people. So every time I listened to him, no lie, my sales would go up like crazy. Like, I was at the dealership the other day. I went to get an oil change. Nothing. Didn't go to buy a car or anything. And like I said, my husband is incarcerated, so he's getting ready to get out in 10 months. I'm so excited about that. But he needs a car, right? He didn't want me to buy him anything. He didn't want anything. He was like, "Why you're not buying a car, are you?" I went and I bought my husband a car. God led me to buy him a car, cash, right? And so sometimes God would put these things on my heart, and I would do it. I would just go with it. I don't question him. And I really believe that's 50% of my success. I don't think it's all about the marketing. I think it's about being obedient as well. I think it's like now I feel hot, like my ears feel hot, my face feels hot as I talk about what God has done for me, because he is the entire reason. I believe he placed me in position because he saw the hard work and dedication that I was putting into the business. So in other words, if you put in the work, honestly, there is no magic script to how God will ordain the rest of your steps if you put in the work and you obey him. And that's, he don't bless nobody that's lazy. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. You got to sow seeds and you got to put in the work. And he respects that, I feel. And then also, Cscrubs has not only blessed myself financially, my GM, you know, it took her to another level financially. She's awesome. She deserves it, but it changed her life. So it's just like I feel like it was an overall domino effect of just me just being obedient and me not taking no for an answer, and me just being consistent and not waiting for a handout or somebody to support me, and actually just put in the work to earn the customer's business.
Amen. My next question is like, are you in ministry? Because you just preach. You just preach.
Well, I'm just like, I guess, you know, it's just something, because you got to give him the credit. Glory. You know, you got to give that man the glory. You know he ordained everything that's happening, because people could easily say, I'm going to the other uniform company down the street. Why Cscrubs? It's not like I'm the only uniform company. So, you know, I had to push and grind, man, day and night. I used to have one baby on one hip and one baby on the other hip. I got jail calls coming in from my husband. I'm trying to help him. Listen, did nothing stop me. Nothing. Did nothing stop me. And so that's the key to the success.
That's the magic sauce. Just believe. Have
Just
faith,
believe.
follow, be obedient. Amen to that. Okay. I need more people to listen to this message and really take what it means, because putting in the work is so important, but it also has to be according to God's will. And
That's right.
I think you're right. He sees it. He sees when you're working. He sees when you are really trying to fulfill his purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And you took a leap of faith when you left a job. It wasn't comfortable, it wasn't lavish, but it was a job. You may or may not have had benefits. I don't know, but you were not fulfilling your purpose.
Right.
And as soon as you did, he led you to success. And then it was still a steady growth. So I feel like that's also important too. God doesn't just bless us, but he prepares us for the blessings. So he was like, I'm not going to take you from 0 to million in your first year. That's not how this is going to work, right? I'm going to help you understand consistency, and I'll give you 12. You'll get that feeling of, I can pay my bills, I'm able to support my children, but I'm not living lavishly, right? And then as you matured in your business, he helped you mature in your profits too, you know, because then he felt like you were prepared. I've prepared her. She's consistent. She's proven. She has the concepts. And then even when you chose to pivot, you know, that was another leap, right? And having that foresight to say, okay, we need to transition this a bit. We need to empower other women, right? That's also a part of your purpose. You have put yourself in a position to bring other women up, including your general manager and other businesses that have come to exist. And you're so right. Like, it could be someone else, but he chose you, right?
That's
So
right.
I love that. I love all of that. And I think you need to just keep doing what you're doing. This is amazing. And I think you kind of mentioned this earlier, but my next question is, you know, what is your vision for Cscrubs? And you mentioned franchising potentially, but what else do you want to see for the company in the next 5 years?
Man, so much, so much. Franchising, definitely. I would say franchising is probably going to take place within 5 to 10 years. But more than just things that can benefit the company sales wise, I want to give back more. I do a lot in private. I don't necessarily exploit the organizations that I donate to or the people that I help, because I feel like that's distasteful. You know, when you do something to help someone, you shouldn't broadcast it everywhere, you know. But I want to create a few organizations that are publicly known about, so that people can come to us for help, and not feel ashamed. They can know that the help is there. I need to be giving back more. I need to be donating a percentage of that 2.4 million every year to more than just random people that I take care of and help, because I take care of everyone around me. But I need to be giving back to the community more. And one thing that I've been thinking about, I was talking to my husband about it the other day, was starting a shelter. You know, I grew up in a shelter. Me and my mom, we lived in a shelter for quite some time before we got Section 8 housing when I was a child. And so I remember the importance of being placed back then. It wasn't a lot of placement. It wasn't a lot of room. So a lot of people have slept on the street because there was no placing in housing. And so I really want to look into housing and making sure that people have a home. Men and women, not just women, but men and women have a home. That's something that I really want to work on. That's a project that I really want to work on, because again, God has a plan for Cscrubs bigger than making me rich. You know, it's about taking care of a lot of other people. So I got work to do. And I definitely want to look into that in the next few years. Definitely.
So I have a question, and I hope it's not too intrusive. When you say you're helping those people around you and you're bringing them up, what does that look like? Is that hiring people around you, or is that supporting them financially so they don't have to provide for themselves? What does that mean?
Well, I don't help anybody that doesn't help themselves. That's rule number one with me. The only person that I help that doesn't help themselves is my mom, because she's mentally ill. She's sick. She's disabled. She can't help herself. So that person I excuse. But everyone else around me is that I have helped is employees. Like my general manager is amazing, amazing. Like she's helped herself. I put her in position, but she has earned her way to where she is. So I'm blessed to say that everyone around me deserves everything that they have got. My husband has been my biggest support system. Um, he was there before Cscrubs when I didn't have anything, So me and him, we go way back to me not even having enough gas to go to work in the first place, and he had to take me to work. So of course, I've been there for him to bless him because he deserves that. But I'm blessed to say I don't have anybody around me that isn't for me or isn't deserving of me. So that's a plus, because I know it isn't always that way.
I know that is amazing, and you're blessed for that, because there are plenty of people that can say they supported the people around them, and that is what made them broke. So you have to be careful about that. And I like that you are giving people opportunities and then allowing them to thrive or not, right? I'm sure you probably in the past had to make decisions to remove people from your life as well.
Oh, yes, definitely have had to do that to stay healthy, definitely. And to run a healthy business, definitely.
Exactly. So I have to ask this question. The name of the podcast is The Purpose of Money. So I like to ask all my guests, what is your purpose for money?
My purpose of money is what I can do for other people. I feel like wealth for me is going to come regardless. I feel like every day I wake up, if I can say I helped someone or I changed their life, then that is my purpose. That is my why for wanting to be so successful and so wealthy in the first place. Of course, I love the comfort that money provides. I don't have to worry anymore, especially being evicted multiple times and going through financial struggle. I have 2 kids, I can take care of them. But I truly get the most fulfillment out of changing other people's lives, because I'm a strong believer that if you are blessed to be wealthy in any way, shape, or form, you have a job to automatically go do something for somebody else. Hopefully, you will just choose the right person to do it for. But that's really my purpose, is to do God's work. To do God's work. You can't go wrong like that.
Absolutely. Amen to that. This has been an amazing interview. I am so thankful for you taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with us and my listeners. So before we depart, please tell my listeners, how can they find you on social media and where should they follow you?
Sure. Cscrubs with Love LLC on Instagram, Cscrubs with Love on Facebook, and you can also visit our website, www.cscrubswithlove-wholesale-division.com, to get started with a package and get your business set up. I'd love to have you as a retailer and welcome you to the Cscrubs family.
Thank you so much, Lydia. I can't wait to see the responses from this podcast. Guys, if you love what you've heard, please leave a comment or review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you may be listening. I also want you to make sure that you tag The Purpose of Money and Cscrubs with Love on Instagram when you're listening to it. We want to know what you're thinking. We want to know that you are sharing this content and wealth with other people, because this was a powerful episode that I think more than just you need to hear. So I look forward to chatting with you guys in another 2 weeks when the next episode is released. But I thank you for listening. Lydia, I thank you for being on the show, and have a
Thank you
great
for
day.
having me.
Yes.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.